not Nagai's? No. Even killing him won't stop it. Serves you right.
In the previous episode, we covered episodes 1 to 6 of Ajin. If you haven't seen that video yet, make sure to check it out before you start this one. Having been tortured, killed multiple times, and chased for the entirety of the series, Nagai does not have it easy. After seeing Mr. Sato's true intentions during his escape, Nagai realizes he needs to get away from him, leading us to the present. Episode 7. Having dove into the river, Nagai makes his escape from the government, and Mr. Sato, Tosaki asks his assistants if she can see him or his ghost in the river. Tosaki steps outside to take a call from the Minister of Japan. He's told he may be fired if he isn't able to reacquire the Ajin Nagai. While this is happening, Mr. Sato meets back up with Tanaka. Without Nagai in his possession, he tells Tanaka they have done a lot, but they are ready to start the real plan. Tosaki, on the other hand, is unsure of his worth, having been threatened for his job. Tosaki recalls when he first met the minister, how he saw potential in him. He offered the minister the job of Ajin Control Chief, with the promise of a nice salary. While riding the elevator, Tosaki asks the man with him if his weapon is real, to which he is told anything is possible with money. Tosaki follows the man into a room monitoring an Ajin. The Ajin is killed as an example of how the Ajins are treated and utilized. The man explains they use Ajin to test countless different weapons to see which works best. The man tells Tosaki if he just follows the top, he will have all the money he could want. He leaves the bathroom and weighs his options, eventually deciding that running is his best choice. Before he is able to leave completely, he stops to observe a nearby room. Here, Tosaki finds a dead doctor alongside a loaded rifle. Tanaka sits down in the wheelchair, letting Mr. Sato pushes him, bringing back memories of when he first saved him. Tosaki approaches two men who have more authority than him, threatening them to get on the ground. Startled by the motion of one of the men, he shoots him without hesitation. The other man tells Tosaki he has nothing to live for, only to let him smoke on last cigarette. While everything on the inside of the facility is going to waste, the reporters and policemen are still on standby outside. The people outside recognize Tanaka as the one in the wheelchair and begin to question him. Mr. Sato says it was all his plan to lure all of the press together in one spot. Tells them he has one thing he's been meaning to get off of his chest. Mr. Sato reveals himself as an Ajin, and the reporters go crazy. He tells the reporters there is a lot of fake news out there, including Tanaka's release. Tanaka remembers a moment when he first told his parents he was an Ajin, having been raided at home. He witnesses the news go crazy and treat him like some sort of puppet. The news reporters question why they should feel bad for their stories, simply just giving the people what they want. Mr. Sato reveals that the government does inhuman experiments on Ajin, causing an uproar. The reporters then ask Mr. Sato where his proof that the government does such things, to which he alerts them he has uploaded the video. While the reporters confirm the authenticity of the video, Mr. Sato reveals he will start an uprising in front of the ministry. Before we continue, let's take a moment to answer the question of the day. Would you join Mr. Sato's protest? If so, why? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out in the next video. Now, back to the recap. He pleads with Japan to come help him with the pretext that they could be an Ajin as well, unknowingly. Mr. Sato then activates bombs upon the facility that Nagai was entrapped in, causing the reporters to panic. During this commotion, Mr. Sato mysteriously disappears as soon as he arrives. In the aftermath of the chaos, Tosaki watches the news knowing his job is lost. While watching his assistant come and question what is next for her, Tosaki loses his job. Despite Mr. Sato's remarks at the site of protest, there weren't many people that showed up, causing it to lose the press's attention. Tosaki swears to cover up everything on the internet, hoping to keep his job. While people gather, thinking nothing is going to happen, Tanaka watches in the eyes of his ghost, revealing all of the other Ajin within the area. Mr. Sato then reveals the plan was to draw in other Ajin, rather than humans. With Ajins gathering, Mr. Sato will be able to take over whatever he pleases. Mr. Sato tells the Ajin's ghosts of the real meeting place, knowing they will show up. Tosaki's assistant, still on edge, is hesitant of the situation Tosaki has put her in. Revealing her identity to the men, Tosaki tells her that the man before her has faked his death. Tosaki criticizes the man, but he just wants his cigarettes. Tosaki observes someone through a glass pane till he is approached by a young child. The child asks what Tosaki is doing, and Tosaki reveals the girl needs money to save herself. When the child asks about his relationship, Tosaki tells the kid that the girl is his fiancée. He says he will do anything to save her, even put someone through hell. Nagai awakes, having floated down the river. He complains about drowning to death multiple times. On the other hand, Mr. Sato tells the other Ajin he gathered to come inside to meet for real this time. Episode 8. While everyone is gathering their people, hoping to bring change to the world, Nagai struggles recovering from drowning multiple times over. He eventually climbs out of the enclosed part, encountering a woman on a bike. She questions why he jumped out at her like that and pleads for him to help her. While she groans in pain on the ground, Nagai decides to help her, having not lost all of humanity just yet. Sato, on the other hand, welcomes all of the other Ajins and prepares them for his plan. Sato tells them he has no specific plan in mind, but he wants to commit a massacre. He tells them he won't let the government get away with all the experiments anymore. He asks for a vote between the Ajins and realizes there are more who disagree than agree with him. Sato tells the people who disagree with him to leave, and one of the Ajin claims he will stop Sato's plans. During this heated moment, Tanaka attempts to shoot the man objecting to him, but misses. Although he missed the main gun, Tanaka seems to have landed a shot on one of the other Ajins. Sato looks upon his new minions and tells them to hunt down the people who are attempting to escape. Sato asks one of the new guys how he can help, having a bad leg. The man tells Sato the contents of Tanaka's guy, urging him to let him stay with the pretext he will provide information on weapons. While they are chasing down the escaped Ajins, the man who stood up to Sato urges the boy to jump. He is then shot by one of the new grunts, forcing him to the ground. The man tells the orange-haired boy that he is the only one who can save the others. He urges him to hurry and escape to formulate a plan in the future. The boy jumps to his death, knowing it's the only way to escape. Tosaki investigates what happened in front of the minister's office, noticing that Ajin gathered in front of the building. He recognizes that a boy followed something invisible with his eyes, so they decide to track him down. While this is happening, the injured man asks Tanaka why Sato is doing all of this. He tells Tanaka that terrorism won't help the cause, but rather expedite the Ajin's capture. Nagai arrives at the lady's house, still unaware that he is an Ajin. The TV shows Nagai's face, revealing he is an Ajin to the lady. She doesn't seem to care that he's an Ajin, turns the TV off in the process. She reveals she has a grandson around Nagai's age, giving her a motive for her help. Nagai, however, still doesn't trust the lady, so he decides to leave her estate to go and try out some of his abilities. While Nagai is doing fine, the boy who escaped Sato's grasp rides a train hoping to flee from Sato's grasp. While riding the train, the boy notices a fellow Ajin out in the woods. Thinking it's Sato, he hides. Nagai finally is able to summon his ghost after trying all day out in the woods. The boy who is running encounters a woman leaving the elevator who urges him to call an ambulance. Noticing his bloodstains, boy emerges at his room, but when he goes to open it, he realizes his room is unlocked. He gets inside, but is approached by two men in black suits who attempt to shoot him with the tranquilizer gun. They miss the boy. Ku. He makes a run for it. Sonsaki's assistant, a fellow Ajin, feels sorry for Kao, knowing what might be next for him. Ku enters the ambulance and is taken away before Tosaki can pursue him any further. Ku, knowing he got away from his pursuers, laughs while in the ambulance. Ku dies while in the ambulance, having lost tons of blood, but comes back alive in the nick of time to escape. Not knowing what to do next, he remembers the Ajin he spotted in the forest and decides he will try to meet with him. Nagai, on the other hand, is still practicing his summoning and controlling his ghost. While everyone else is running around frantically, Sato uploads another video hoping to strike fear in the people who oppose him. He announces his plan to raid a building, calling all other Ajins to his side. Episode 9. Nagai watches Sato's announcement from the lady whom he helped previously. Ko, on the other hand, ventures through the forest looking for the Ajin who he witnessed earlier. Ku sees some large footprints leading to a different location, giving him a lead. Ku follows this trail, but is startled to see a ghost walking alone in the forest. He follows the ghost's trail and stumbles upon Nagai riding in the forest. Nagai's ghost instantly attacks Ku, killing him in the process. Nagai argues with his ghost for killing Ku, showing he doesn't have full control over it yet. To Nagai's surprise, the boy comes back to life and introduces himself to Nagai. He asks if he went against Sato. Knowing he is a common enemy, he asks to team up. Nagai leads Ku to a spot where he is safe, and Ku becomes relaxed. While this encounter is going on, Sato purchases some explosives from his arms dealer. He asks his new subordinate if the bombs look good, to which he praises them. As usual, Sato delivers and gives the arms dealer various body parts in exchange for the bombs. Nagai arrives back to the old lady's house and fixes lunch for himself, and Kao's stomach growls as he tells Nagai he took too long. Kao begins to munch down down on the food fixed by Nagai, asking about his current situation. Nagai tells him he found a safe zone, everyone in the village being mostly detached from the world. While Nagai is about to leave the house, he is noticed by a neighbor talking to the old lady. The neighbor asks who he is, and the old lady covers for him, calling Nagai his grandson. The old man seems to have heard about her grandson, so he tells Nagai to stop causing trouble for the police. Nagai wonders how bad her grandson is, knowing the neighbor has heard of his bad deeds. Nagai arrives back to Ku and tells him he is unsure how nobody knows his identity. Nagai asks Ku whether he is serious about fighting Sato, knowing his face isn't widely spread on the news yet. Before Ku is able to take another bite, he begins to feel dizzy. Nagai reveals he poisoned him. He tells Kao that although he can't kill an Ajin, he can immobilize them. Ku smashes his head on a rock, hoping to kill himself, but is unsuccessful. Instead, he runs to the cliff and jumps off, killing himself and resetting his body in the process. Nagai sees him uninjured and jumps down, delivering a kick to his face. Ku strikes back, getting him in a chokehold, but is interrupted by Nagai killing himself. Nagai takes control of the fight and suffocates Ku in the ocean. Nagai counts to 160 until Ku eventually dies, giving Nagai a little breathing room. Sato, on the other hand, is busy at work, having found a new base to operate from. Kao awakes inside of a truck, greeted by Nagai. Kao threatens to report Nagai to the police, but finds that Nagai has taken his cell phone. Ku asks Nagai if he really won't help all the people from Sato. Nagai tells him is it really his problem to stop them, having been put through all the torture. Nagai tells Ku that he won't be able to escape, so he shouldn't even try. He alerts him of a hole in the edge he can go to the bathroom out of, and assures him he'll bring a magazine within 72 hours. In a press report, the official is questioned how seriously they are taking the self-proclaimed Ajin, Sato's threats. They also ask questions about Nagai, asking how much they experimented on him. The official tries to cover it up by calling Nagai emotionally unstable. Tosaki talks to the scientists at the table, bashing him for not capturing Nagai already. He tells them their first priority ought to be the capture of Sato. A man appears in the room and alerts Tosaki that he will be overseeing his work and reporting it back to the minister. Tosaki warns his new boss of the mental toll his new job can take on him. He asks in return whether that means he should take over for Tosaki. Him saying the job is hard to handle. The man who introduced the theory of how to see ghosts is questioned by a man under Tosaki. He tells Tosaki that despite his torture, he hasn't spilled a word thus far. He tells his assistant to show his accomplice the proof he is related. Revealed is a Ministry of Defense badge found on the bodyguard of the man. He pleads for Tosaki not to break all of his fingers, needing them to be able to smoke cigarettes. Tosaki, angered by his comment, smashes more of his fingers and asks him if he's an Ajin, considering his pain tolerance. He tells Tosaki the torture doesn't make him want to talk at all, and the only thing he needs is a cigarette. Tosaki finally listens to the man and goes to buy him some cigarettes. Satisfied by his compliance, the man tells Tosaki he is now ready to talk. Episode 10. The man asks Tosaki where he wants him to start, willing to tell him anything. He calls the Ajins able to summon ghosts. Variants. He refers to them as IBM, and says every IBM has a different strength. He tells Tosaki that IBMs are capable of feats much stronger than humans. Tosaki asks what the weak points of the IBM is, needing some way to defeat it. The man tells him that IBMs are only able to survive for 5-10 minutes and disappear after that time is up. He tells Tosaki that an IBM is only able to be summoned once or twice a day. He says the IBMs are always in a state of decay, hence why no one could summon them when it was raining. He compares the Ajin's communication with their IBMs to electromagnetic waves. He uses a cell phone as an example. When it's raining, it's harder to get a strong signal. The IBMs work the same way. When there's a disruption in the signal, the Ajin is unable to control their IBM. He tells Tosaki that although IBMs are powerful, they are also very weak. Tosaki asks the man to confirm one last thing, how during an incident, an Ajin summoned multiple IBMs at the same time. The man tells Tosaki that although he believes killing the Ajin was the reason, it was actually a flood. He says that when an Ajin gets too emotionally unstable, they can spawn in multiple Ajin at the same time. Ku still finds himself stuck in the truck. Kicking at the walls, he still finds no progress towards escape. He's finally fed by Nagai, who drops the bag of goods on his face. Ku asks Nagai if he put books in the bag like he promised. Ku demands a TV from Nagai, but he decides to just leave him be for the moment. Nagai walks back to his home until he encounters his IBM chopping down trees like he's in Minecraft. Nagai's IBM walks close to him and tells him to watch what he says. Nagai asks what his problem is and tells him to follow him. Nagai finally recognizes how to control his IBM, doing the opposite of what he says. Nagai is approached by an old man asking who he is and what he's doing in the forest. Nagai claims he is the old woman's grandson and that he's just taking a walk. The old man seems to believe him and changes the subject to asking whether he's the one stealing his plants and mushrooms. Nagai continues to walk home. not looking behind as he leaves. Arriving home, Nagai gives the old woman a massage, hoping to thank her for looking out for him. The old man tells him she will help him in any way she can to thank him. Nagai asks about the old man he encountered earlier, and she tells him about him. He used to bring his son over to play, but he ran off with all his money, leaving the old man always suspicious of others. She tells Nagai to always look out for him being nosy. The old man questions whether he really is the old lady's grandson, saying he stinks. He says Nagai smells like the woman who betrayed his son, bringing back bad memories. Tosaki tries to talk to the scientists at the table, but he is criticized by them for not bringing back Nagai. Having recently taken Tosaki's place, the new boss interrupts them, saying they aren't adding anything to their search. He asks if they have anything to add, but they are all silent, proving his point. Tosaki feels relieved to have someone on his side for once. The boss, Sokabe, arrives to report to the minister, telling him that Tosaki has been acting strange lately. The minister says this confirms that Ikuya Ogwara is alive, saying Tosaki has been working with the Americans. The minister tells Sokabe to let Tosaki continue his work and not get involved with his affairs. He tells him once the situation is resolved, they will have him take the blame for everything that has happened thus far. Tosaki learns this thanks to his IBM assistants spying on their conversation. Nagai walks around the forest hoping to learn more about the landscape until he is noticed by a man. Nagai greets him, but the man walks away and reports the neighbor. Nagai walks in on their conversation and acts innocent, asking to talk over the misunderstandings. Nagai tells them he usually doesn't get much time to be with nature. Having lived in Tokyo, he asks if he can sit down with the men, hoping to warm them up to him. He tells them although he has been a troublemaker and acted badly, he simply wishes to restart. He confesses that he was caught stealing and expelled from school, even shedding a tear while telling the story. He tells the two that this village is the only place he has left to go, pleading to allow him to stay. The neighbor tries to assure the other man he's not a criminal, hoping he will accept him. Nagai softens the deal by pulling out a bottle of alcohol, which makes the men happy. Sato gives a speech to his men, assuring them they will make change to the world's view on Ajin. He says nothing is more important than this plan, and it must succeed. They all agree that they are ready and decide to set out and finally launch their attack. Episode 11. A reporter stands outside the building Sato is planning to attack in 2 days, showing the building. Although it's early, Sato and his team arrive disguised as a cleaning service, hoping to clean the drain pipes. The other members look away while Masumi, the gun fanatic, does the talking. The guard checks the schedule and confirms their appointment, allowing them to go within the building grounds. They get in the elevator and take it to the lowest floor along with their large bins. Masumi guides them throughout the building, eventually asking Sato if he can see. Sato confirms they are in the correct location, and the crew begins planting the bombs. Tosaki still finds himself standing at the table talking to the scientists and officials. Although there have been multiple episodes sitting at the table, they still have no plan to countermeasure Sato. One of the policemen asks Tosaki if using tranquilizers on the Ajin is human. Tosaki counters his claim by saying Ajin aren't human, so their means of attack doesn't matter. Ku, still being entrapped in the truck, finds himself doing push-ups to pass the time. Guy drops multiple items down the pit, and Ku asks him if he will do nothing about Sato's attack. Nagai lifts the top up again, asking him his plan and how they will defeat him. Ku tells Nagai he knows his base location and his plans. Ku assures him Sato isn't messing around, and they are the only ones who can stop him. Nagai tells Ku that they stand no chance against Sato, having witnessed his combat experience firsthand. Nagai tells Ku he had no plans of stopping him, and that he enjoys his current life. Tells Ku he doesn't plan on throwing his newfound peaceful life away. Ku attempts to convince Nagai to fight Sato one last time, but he closes the door on his face. Upon arriving home, Nagai is welcomed back by the old lady who gives him a gift. Nagai apologizes to the woman, knowing it was expensive for her to buy. She asks Nagai if he is planning on contacting someone, and he tells her he just wants to look something up. Having finished planting the bombs, Masumi and his group get back to the van and head out. Sato laughs to himself, knowing his plan is playing out perfectly so far. He tells Tanaka whenever he plays a video game, he always does it on hard mode. Preparing for his attack, policeman stands behind the minister, asking why they need so many reinforcements. The minister tells him if they send IBMs, they won't have a way to counterattack, hence their new invention. They plan to make it constantly pour rain around the building, making it impossible for any Ajin to approach with their IBM. Sato gets into his usual outfit and reaches the 50th floor of the building. He approaches the attendant and kills him instantly. A policeman approaches, but Sato shoots him dead before he can even react. Sato gets to the top of the building and overlooks the place he plans to raid. The minister, sure of his defense, chuckles to himself until he is startled by the nearby explosion. With smoke erupting into the sky causing chaos, Sato rides the building down as it falls. Asumi watches in amazement, recognizing Sato's determination. Being an Ajin, Sato emerges from the rubble unscathed, calling the ride down a blast. The reporters cover the story, revealing the damage Sato has caused thus far. Sato stands in the center of the battlefield and receives a care package from a drone. The scientists and officials find themselves still stuck to their round table, observing the scene from a safe place. While the police attempt to regather themselves, Sato emerges from the smoke with a shotgun in hand. Sato tells his group the battle has just begun, the special assault team being the real challenge. The group emerges from the smoke much like Sato, showing their strength. Sato continues to talk in a relaxed tone, cocking his shotgun and announcing it's showtime. Episode 12. The news is reporting the destruction of the new building, having just been blown up. As the police stand by awaiting Sato's emergence, they decide to split up, knowing they have the advantage of numbers. Sato recognizes that his shotgun will be useless unless he gets close range, knowing they have plated armor. Masumi continues to watch the numbers go up on Sato's live stream. The neighbors watch the destruction until Mr. Kita, the old angry man, emerges, pushing his way to the TV. He watches as the reporter switches the channel to Sato's live stream. While they are doing this, Master Kita rushes out angrily, saying he put all his assets into the company. Tosaki, on the other hand, is still at the round table with the officials arguing and contemplating their next plans. Tosaki tells them they don't have to worry about the flood incident and that they are free to use any means necessary to restrain Sato. Tosaki urges the group that they should continue killing Sato until he gives up. Sato still stands idly unsure of the group's plans until he's shot in the head, killing him. They continue to lay fire on him, killing him over and over again, giving him no time to get up. As they do this, a news helicopter flies overhead, observing the situation. They witness the police's continuous fire towards Sato, calling it a new strategy to overcome the Ajin. Ku, still entrapped in the truck, roots the police on as they attempt to restrain Sato. The policemen transport Sato onto a stretcher and proceed to move him into a bus. They continue killing Sato all the way over to the bus, giving him no time to move. The members at the table question whether this is enough to restrain Sato, to which Tosaki confirms this will do it. Tosaki reveals his plan as never letting Sato come back to life. Right before the policeman is able to get another shot off on Sato, he is sniped by Sato's companions. Sato, having not been shot in a while, is able to get back up, but is shot again the second he does. Before Sato's companions are able to assist in helping him, they are sniped, rendering them immobile. The snipers continue to kill Sato's companion after confirming it is an Ajin. While they have their snipers on them, one of the men reports the locations of the snipers to Tanaka. Tanaka moves fast by getting to the sniper's vantage point with his IBM. He eliminates the first two snipers and moves on to the next. Snipers look around and attempt to shoot the IBM flying through the skies. Unable to hit such a fast target, another sniper is taken down by the IBM, but is stopped by a strange mechanism. Sure, they stopped it. The snipers begin to move, but are shot by Tanaka. Tanaka decides his best option to take down the other snipers is to run to the location. Having not been shot in a little while, Sato's companion gets back up and aims for the police on foot. The sniper decides instead of taking him out, he will attempt to hit his rifle. Masumi stops the snipers by emerging in front of them via drone. During this distraction, Tanaka takes the opportunity to shoot them in the back. Sato gets a small window where he is able to summon his IBM, stopping the incoming bullets. He fires up his companions by taking out multiple policemen. Sato keeps going, taking out policeman after policeman, eventually leaving him alone. One of the Ajin who came to his meeting previously appears this time as a police officer. Sato walks past him and the other officers, striking fear into them as he walks. While the police are too scared to attempt to restrain him, news isn't following his every move. Because of their prying, Masumi takes it upon himself to blow up the helicopter reporting the news. Tosaki and the others still find themselves at the round table, confirming that their plan was a failure. Nagai stays at home watching it all play out until the old lady helping him calls for him. Mr. Kita continues watching the news, eventually seeing Nagai's face pop up, one of the stray Ajin. Having lost his life savings to the destruction of the building, he sets his sight on claiming the bounty. Episode 13. Mr. Kita picks up his phone and calls the government, alerting them of Nagai's location. At the table resides the officials and scientists still arguing, until Tosaki alerts them of Nagai's newfound whereabouts. Tosaki marches out of the office for the first time in 5 episodes and dispatches police to Nagai's location. After blocking all of the surrounding roads, Nagai resides in the old lady's house, still unaware of his situation. Mr. Kita rushes out, hoping to claim his reward of 100 million placed upon the Ajin. The police ask if the policeman, Akira, wants to hear out the informant, but he pushes him away. The policeman tells Akira of the current situation, Nagai convincing the old lady that he is her grandson. Although they think he is deceiving her, Nagai helps the old lady picking weeds in her field. Nagai stands up and looks around. Noticing nobody is outside today, he realizes something is up. Nagai tells the old lady to go inside, realizing what will go down, but is shot before he can take action. The old lady comes to help Nagai, but he takes her hostage instead. The policeman moves closer to Nagai, and he converses with the old lady, revealing she is okay with him, holding her still. Nagai's IBM summons himself and begins running rampart on all of the policemen. Nagai attempts to run away but gets shot in the process. Having the police on his tail, Nagai flees through the forest, calling upon his IBM to help him. He runs, telling himself he'll never be caught, thus summoning his IBM to run ahead of him, tricking the police. Having lost his track, the police are forced to widen their search of the forest, knowing he could be anywhere. Finally, leaving the round table is Tosaki, arriving at Nagai's location. He tells Akira no matter how much they search, he will continue to get away. Nagai being intelligent. Tosaki, sure of himself, tells Akira to sweep the whole area, thinking Nagai has used up all his IBMs for the day. Nagai remembers Kao after pulling out his cell phone and decides to use him to his benefit. During this, Tosaki and his assistant search the old lady's house, hoping to find something to assist their search. Tosaki receives a call telling him that Ku's phone was used in the proximity they are searching. Tosaki questions how Nagai has disappeared without a trace, mentioning he has been awaiting this day. He realizes it's a diversion, but it's too late, because all of the police are at Kao's location. The police arrive at a building with Kao's phone, but not Nagai. Nagai goes back to Ku and releases him from the truck. The two run through the forest, eventually stumbling upon Tosaki, hitting his first shot. Tosaki drops Ku and hits Nagai with his second shot. Nagai lays on the ground, remembering what happened last time. He begins to get enraged. He summons his IBM, which surprises Tosaki, knowing he has summoned his IBM multiple times already. Tosaki's assistant summons an IBM of her own, and the two begin to fight. Tosaki realizes that his assistant isn't helping, so he runs over in an attempt to kill Nagai. He fires multiple shots, but the IBM stays active, giving Nagai time to escape. Nagai summons another IBM, surprising Tosaki and his assistant. Unable to overpower her, Nagai's ghost dies, but he summons another, hoping to hold them off. The two shoot the police cars, causing an explosion and giving them an opportunity to escape. Tosaki and his assistant stand by at the scene, feeling defeated after losing both Ajins. Mr. Kita appears, claiming he's entitled to at least half the bounty, but is refused. He is seen panting in the background, knowing he has nothing left to his name. Nagai and Ko, on the other hand, tie themselves together, hoping to wash aboard where Sato is. Nagai and Ko jump into the ocean, ready to finally take down Sato. Sato, on the other hand, is seen recording a video, claiming his terrorism was just the start. Begins with saying he will assassinate 15 people on the list he's holding. Calls upon the government to stop their prosecution of Ajins and threatens to take over the country if his ideals are not adapted.